Okay, so here we're going to do the new moon readings for each of the signs. So this is going to be a test of whether or not my phone can hold this much information. And I'm currently set up at a table, and nobody knows this, but in all of my other readings, I was actually kneeling because the table I was reading on was like a foot off the ground. And if I did anything longer than like 10 or 15 minutes, the blood circulation to my legs would all disappear. So an hour-long reading, which this might end up being, was completely out of the question because I would end up in a wheelchair if I did it. But now I'm sitting at a table on a chair. Technology. All right, so we will start with Aries. Let's just see what Aries has coming up for the full moon. Aries. So this, if Aries is in your chart, wherever it is, you should be able to translate this stuff to that. And let's just see what we got. New moon for Aries. All right, the root card is the Queen of Wands. And we have a Three of Pentacles, so this is creative collaboration. Now, the Queen of Wands on the bottom is about sort of feeling appreciated for your unique talents and your unique beauty and abilities. Now, here we have that applied. We'll put the Queen down here. Applied to this Three of Pentacles. Now, in the Three of Pentacles, so this is a collaboration. It's working together with other people. And in the Three of Pentacles, there is no clear leader, right? So this is like everyone is kind of even. Everyone is open to each other's input. And they kind of transform each other through this process. But in this case, your unique abilities are definitely welcomed, and they're a good part of this three. So let's just look here at what leads up to it and where it goes. What leads up to it, we get the Strength card, and where does it go? The King of Swords. All right. So in what leads up to this Three of Pentacles, it shows that the collaboration itself and continuing to be in it is not an easy thing, and it requires a lot of will and a lot of force directed to it just to sort of keep it going, right? And there are times when you would be tempted to just say fuck it and abandon the whole thing. But through this process, through the strength process, you just continue to hold on. And here it looks like it's worth it. Now, on the other side of the King, or on the other side of the Three of Pentacles, we have the King of Swords. So it's interesting because in the three, there is no leader. But it looks like leadership skills are developed through this process because the King of Swords is a leader. This is also a card of commitment and a card of being able to see something without a bunch of emotional garbage getting in the way. Now, this is sort of a higher realm, like, higher self sort of guide card here. And the Eight of Wands is saying all of this energy has been growing and growing, and it's like now is the time to harvest this stuff. So if this is a long growing, like a slow growing, long moving project, this is basically saying like it's harvest time. You've worked on this for a long time, and or at least built up to it for a long time, and now it's time to do the thing. So creative collaborations and having these leadership skills and sort of a measured outlook that kind of develops through it. But creativity and also being appreciated for what you uniquely bring to the table. So that looks pretty good in the new moon for Aries. Now, let's take a peek at Taurus. What is your deal? What do you got coming up for the new moon? Taurus. Okay. Oop. Root card is the Chariot. Woo, look at that. And the center is the Emperor. So right away, the Chariot is about very focused, directed movement. Like the Chariot is going to a specific place. One of the important things in the Chariot is having clearly defined short-term goals, and that way you always know where you're going. But the Chariot also keeps you safe from distractions and stupid bullshit, because this armor that forms around the dude in the Chariot, it provides kind of a tunnel vision. The Chariot is going this way. Doesn't give a fuck what you say. You could throw rocks at this guy. He doesn't care. Whoop. He's just going this way. So the main card is the Emperor. And the Emperor is about control. And if the Emperor waits for something to happen, the Emperor will wait forever. The Emperor has to make it happen. So this is about controlling your goal and like really applying force and will and action to this goal. Now let's see what leads up to it. Bloop. Of course. And where does it go? Aha. I'm going to have to pull another one on this too. Now, what leads up to the Emperor is the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is like stasis. It's like calling a timeout. And the timeout happens for a really good reason, because something was going on and it caused you to be like, what the fuck? Like, hold on, I've got to call a timeout. I've got to sit over here in the corner and figure out what's happening. Like in a football game, this is going over the film, you know, or like on the sidelines when they're looking at the pictures of the defense. Oh, let me just sit here for a second and absorb this. So, from this Hanged Man state, the Emperor is saying, like, you can't continue to just think about things and kind of do nothing. Like, the time for that is over, and now it is time for force and action. And if you wait, you would wait forever. At this point, now, where the energy is going is to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is an inner conflict. Now, here, the two heads of this card, it's like they're fighting each other, they're locked against each other, they're equally strong, but they don't even realize that they're the same creature. The Two of Swords is when you have a mental deadlock, and you might not even realize that you're completely fighting yourself. They're not even turned out to see the rest of the world to see how strong they actually are. So here, the Emperor is like, it's time to actually do a thing, and it's going to immediately bring you face to face with this Two of Swords situation. And as far as this goes, the important thing to know about the Two of Swords, if you are locked where fear and desire are equally strong, just try to realize that you are fighting yourself. It's not even the universe that's fighting you, it's completely you. And here we look at kind of the higher message that comes out of this. So, the Page of Swords, they're really good at tuning in to one thing. You can see with the robotic eye, right? So if you look for success, you will absolutely find it. If you look for butterflies, you would see them everywhere with the energy of the Page of Swords. It's training yourself to see all of something. Now, when the Page of Swords is reversed, it usually talks about training yourself to see a negative. So here, as you look at this Two of Swords and you're dealing with the issue, you've already thought about it enough, right? and it's sort of time for the doing. The Page of Swords is saying try to be careful that you are not looking only for negatives. Now, there's logistical things. It's okay to look for logistical problems, but just make sure that you are trying to see the path to success. Like, make sure that you can see the goal, right? And that's what we get for Taurus. Try not to fight yourself. And also try not to see defeat everywhere you go. But as far as your actual goal, these two that are like disruptive or not the best, they are not anywhere near as strong as these three. These are all major arcana cards, right? This is just stuff. This is just some shit that happens. It can be there or not be there on a given day, but this is big life shit. So it is time. It is time to take control, grab the reins. And if you wait, Taurus, you will wait forever. Okay. Whoop. Gemini. Let's see what both of your deal is. All right. Gemini. Ah! Okay. Nine of Swords is the root. Three of Wands in the middle. So the Nine of Swords is showing kind of the main energy that's happening is a bunch of anxiety and fear. And the Nine of Swords shows up especially when we worry about something that we can't do a goddamn thing about. Which is why this person isn't doing anything. They're just sitting in bed worrying, right? Because they actually can't do anything about what they're worrying about. So the main card, Three of Wands. So this is a long, slow, growing project. It is a genuine expression of who you are, which is shown in the umbilical cord here. All this is about is patience, devotion. I mean, this is the same energy that you would give to a baby, right? None of the territorial stuff, none of the defensive stuff. The trollish energy is turned the other direction because this is just about love and patience and devotion. So we'll do what leads up to it. And where does it go? That is interesting. So what leads up to this point? The Temperance card. This is also patience. This is patience and understanding. It's really blending a couple of different perspectives to find a greater truth. But the Temperance card isn't judgment. It's not like a knee-jerk reaction to anything. It's very measured. It is patience and wisdom. So here, it looks like your personal patience and wisdom is kind of what built this relationship or project or whatever. And here, there is some sort of realization of a way that you have kind of given your energy to something that is never going to give you anything back. And that's what happens in the Six of Pentacles. There's the ghost, and the ghost is like, hey, can I have a pentacle? Oh, sure. So he gives him the pentacle. The ghost is still a ghost. Nothing changes. So here, as you move forward, it really is about understanding how, out of maybe a sense of giving or a sense of generosity or kindness, that you might be taken advantage of and being given your energy to something just like the Nine of Swords. This is worrying about something that you can't do fucking shit about. And the Six of Pentacles is giving. to something that you could never change. All right. So let's just see the higher card that we have. Wow. So there's like a big shift that's happening here. And it's important to remember to be measured and patient and like try to zero in on your understandings that are not coming from knee jerk reactions. This isn't really about how you feel about this thing this week. This is really looking at the situation throughout time and trying to see a bigger picture. Um, the higher wisdom is a Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles shows you basically standing at a portal. So you're about to walk into kind of a new world. And in the Four of Pentacles, it shows how you're going to lose some things that you cling to, some things that make you feel important, some things that you highly identify with. Now, here, it might be like in the Six of Pentacles, like you really feel like you're helping people. You know, you really feel like when you give this person money that you are walking like a high road or something like that. And as the six highlights, it's not necessarily true. Um, you can give to a problem and not fucking change it whatsoever. And the Four of Pentacles is really showing like you're at the brink of a fundamental change, and you're going to lose something that you cling to as you move forward, but you fucking have to, right? When the miser walks through this portal, he will not have robes. He will not have his pentacles. Like, it's going to be the naked truth of himself, and that is what we have here. So, long-term nourishment, and it looks like there is kind of cutting out something that is an energy or time or like material vampire, right? And just sort of leaving that shit behind. Um, and the way that it makes you feel, or whatever's going on in the Four of Pentacles at the top, like whatever it is that you cling to about that situation, you're going to have to leave behind. So, Gemini, good luck with all of that. It can be tricky when you really feel like you are doing the right thing, you know, or you really feel like you're helping a person. But then you got to look over time and see how much you've put in and how much they have actually changed. And those things are probably not going to be even. It will probably not be balanced. Cancer. You crabby bastards. Let's just take a peek at what we got going on for Cancer. Okie doke. Oh, that was just that one card. Fine. Queen of Pentacles at the root. Knight of Pentacles in the center. Right away, I'm just going to see. This one is going to be kind of reversed. We'll see what it's moving away from. Holy shit, we've got a family thing going on. Wow. Wow. Let's just see the higher thing. Page of Swords. All right. So we definitely have family stuff. Okay. So the root card, this is the kind, giving, generous mother. It does show sometimes she has kind of a communication gap as she tries to show her love to her children, and they're just like, they don't know what the fuck she's talking about. They kind of speak two different languages. But the Queen of Pentacles is the kind, generous, giving mother figure. So that's kind of at the root. The main card is the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles is moving away from the King. Now, the root card being the Mother, this is showing the child moving away from the King. So theoretically, the King of Pentacles has kind of either set them up properly or taught them whatever it is they need to know, and they're ready to move out this way toward the reverse Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is boredom and stagnation. It's basically not doing shit when you really want to do something. And when it's reversed, as it is here, this is finally getting out of your little room, or getting out of the tower, getting on the ship and going and doing something new, doing something fun. So the Page of Swords is the higher message here, and the Page of Swords is all about sort of trying to see what you want, you know. And here, it really does look like some sort of a journey, like moving away from the King of Pentacles and probably the Pentacles household. And here it's like moving towards something that is emotionally exciting. The Page of Swords is really saying, if it is adventure that you're looking for, then try to see it. If it's happiness, try to see it. Like, try not to see defeat and bullshit as you move out into this. One other thing that we've got, just because the Queen of Pentacles is on the bottom, if there is a relationship, or like whatever the deal is here, try to understand, like, if you keep putting energy into it and it just isn't working, try to look at how much you put into it in a material sense, and how much you put into it in like an action and like a fire sort of sense. Because a lot of times the Queen of Pentacles is going to try to solve a problem with money, and money doesn't always do anything. You know, you might not be able to buy your way out of this situation. Like, it's like if someone decides that they want to get in shape, and they go out and buy yoga clothes, they buy a yoga mat, or they buy a fucking bike helmet or whatever. None of that means anything. You know, you can buy all that shit, and it's all about your pattern. It's all about what you actually do. If you want to get in shape and you fucking go running for an hour a day or whatever, that's fine. That will actually work. Buying running shoes ain't gonna do shit. So try to keep that in mind here, but it looks like there is a new pattern developing that would lead to emotional excitement, and that seems pretty good. But you won't be able to buy your way out of all of these problems. So, next we move on to the coolest sign, everybody's favorite, at least according to them, and that is the Leos. Everybody knows Leos are the coolest. It's just true. That doesn't mean that Leos are the most effective at anything, but they sure are the coolest. So let's just see. Leo, holy crap, it's a 3 of Pentacles. I'm forgetting now what the other sign was that had this. And it's the Queen of Wands. I think those two came together on one of the other signs. I just don't remember which one it was. So, again, we have the creative collaboration. So this is what really wants to happen, and it's working together with other people, right? And the Queen of Wands in the center is pretty much saying, in this creative collaboration, your unique talents will be recognized, and it will feel pretty fucking good. So, and that's important. as we all know, for a Leo. Bloop. Oh, geez. So when we look at what leads up to this situation, we get a reversed Four of Wands. And the reverse Four of Wands is basically saying breaking a commitment, right? So it's some commitment that you have made in the past, and it looks like it just doesn't necessarily work anymore. So in order to get to this new collaboration, there is a breaking of a commitment. Um, this is the harmonious home and the shared commitment to the home, and here that commitment is essentially broken. Now, as it moves forward, we have again a Six of Pentacles, and this is basically saying there is something that you tend to give energy to. You give it time, you give it energy, you give it money, and it's a fucking vampire, and it ain't giving you anything back, and it never will. So these two are probably connected. This broken commitment here, and then just like wanting to help something or wanting to give, and it just doesn't help anything. Now we'll look at the higher. Oh, geez, Louise. So the higher, we'll say the higher calling of this, we get a Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords is about not dealing with something that you know is kind of fucked up. And over time, that sits up, and it ends up being pretty traumatic. So this broken commitment, this is something that you probably felt coming for a while, and it is a good idea, it looks like, to break this thing and just moving toward a new collaboration, right? The new collaboration is great, and as you sort of work your way out of that situation, try to make sure that you don't fall victim to old vampire patterns. But the Queen of Wands, I would let this be the guide. And the Queen of Wands is essentially saying where you are recognized, where you are appreciated. If there is any doubt in all of this stuff, try to make sure you're going to a place where people see who you are, where people recognize your like inner truth. And essentially that is our guide. Now, that is what we get for Leo. I think I'm going to have to make this in 2 videos because I think my phone is running out of resources here. So that will be the end of part 1. Okay. We are now at Virgo. So let's take a peek. Virgo, what is the deal coming up on the new moon? One more here. And Virgo. What do we got? 5 of Pentacles as the root. Now the 5 of Pentacles, we have feelings of exile, feelings of being very judged and sort of uniquely alone. The fucking Queen of Wands. So this is the 3rd of these new moon readings that has the Queen of Wands in the center. Now, especially with this as the root card, the Queen of Wands is going to feel like manna from heaven, because if the situation has been feeling very judged and all alone, the Queen of Wands is like showing what you're made of and it being appreciated. So the Queen of Wands is very much appreciated for her unique gifts and her unique beauty. Let's just see what leads up to it. And we get the old married couple that has been too close for too long. Communication is broken down. Fascinating. So this is really going to depend on what happens up here. All right. So this is interesting. It looks like the Queen of Wands is in kind of a box. but it looks like the new moon specifically is a really good time to hang out with friends and sort of spend some time with the people who know you, the people who really do appreciate you because you've been through the shit together. Because right here, the Queen of Wands is trapped in between emotional stagnation that shows up in the Five of Cups, and the communication breakdown there, and the reverse Knight of Cups. I feel the reverse Knight of Cups pretty hard because the reverse. So the Knight of Cups by itself, this is the spiritual seeker, and the Knight of Cups feels a pull, like they are being called, and they go out of their comfort zone to try to find this thing that they're being called to. The Knight of Cups reversed, if they do feel the call, they're not answering it, but what is more likely is they're waiting, like they're waiting for the call and the call just isn't happening. And that can be very fucking frustrating. And I definitely feel that in my life. But the Queen of Wands in the center, it looks like there is this period in which you can truly feel appreciated. And in this case, it isn't that much of an emotional journey to do it. It's really about spending time with the people who know you and the people that you have gone through the things with. So that's like a little bit of mana from heaven, hanging out with your friends. That seems pretty simple here. I'm just going to pull one more card on this Virgo thing, and I'm trying to see how to deal with this kind of like long term. And what we get is the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is inheritance. So this is like family stability and family wisdom. And maybe spending time with your elders that way, but it looks like that can kind of help guide you through this long term, and maybe seeing how your parents or whatever, your other family members have dealt with this sort of shit. But that's what we get there for Virgo on the new moon. Okay. That brings us to Libra, which rhymes with zebra. I don't know why, but every time I say Libra, I have to say that it rhymes with zebra. It's some weird thing in my head. One of many, I guess, but that's one of them. All right, Libra. New moon. Libra, what is your deal? Again, we get just the one card. Okay. Hey, look at that. It's the Two of Cups. Combined with a reversed Eight of Pentacles. So the Two of Cups is about being open to the moment, just seeing what that specific moment has to offer. It's not about looking forward, and it's not about looking back. So the new moon, which I guess is Thursday, but it's like the next couple of days, which basically has new moon energy. This is the energy that wants to happen. Just being open, emotionally open, and having this experience. This is not a card of commitment. This is a card of experience and the moment. Now, the main card is the reversed Eight of Pentacles, which is either not being able to do the thing that you do, like not having the space or the time to do the thing that gives you a sense of pride, or it's doing a bunch of it and then feeling like you have nothing at the end of the day. So we'll just look at what leads up. And it's another 8. Where does it go? Reverse Knight of Swords. None of that looks particularly good. And higher message. Wow. All right. So Libra is fucked. I don't really mean that. But what we have... Hoy. This can happen, right? The Two of Cups can happen, but it's a decision that you are going to have to make because there is a lot of stuff that is going on here. The Eight of Swords is showing feeling trapped and being filled with anxiety. Now, this is probably leading directly to the inability to be able to do your job or to produce the thing that you produce. Now, where this energy moves is a reverse Knight of Swords, and the problem here, so the Knight of Swords is the territorial protector, which is fine. It's like the guard dog. Now, the Knight of Swords reversed is when the guard dog would attack the fucking milkman, right? It's sending this defensive energy at things that are not threats. And it looks like there's a bunch of that in you. And at the core of it, it's probably because you haven't been doing the Two of Cups at all. So here, it's like you really, really want to be productive. You fucking really want to do that. But that's not what this time is for. Like, just forget about it, right? Just forget about it completely. Because not being able to do that is going to piss you off. Now, the higher purpose or whatever, we have the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is heartbreak and betrayal. So there is some real stuff that's going on here, and you feel betrayed, and you were betrayed, right? And the only good thing to say about the Three of Swords, because this is a period where you kind of do have to sit with it a little bit, but at the end of that time, you sort of understand how you were betrayed so you can keep it from happening again. But in this moment, there's shit you want to do. You want to feel productive. It ain't happening. It looks like you might be taking it out on the wrong people, but try to keep this Two of Cups in mind. And the Two of Cups isn't about anything but what is actually present for you in that moment. What I've been doing, because I've been feeling this a lot too, I just take a nap, you know? I'm like, well, if it isn't really firing right now, screw it, I'm just going to take a nap. And that has helped me a lot. But maybe that's what you should do in this case. Just take a nap. Or in this case, like, maybe just go out, do some other shit, you know, and just try to be open to what is actually being presented to you. Because it looks like you probably won't be able to get any work done. Libra. Well, that wasn't a flower pot of good news. But you can avoid it sucking the worst just by opening up to whatever is there. Scorpio. You pinchy bastards. What do we got? What do we got going on for Scorpio? Scorpio in the new moon. We'll give it one more here. Whoop. All right. Root card, Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is essentially about not losing hope. All right. Five of Wands in the center. So this is chaos and competition. Let's just see what leads up. And of course, we have the Eight of Swords again. And where does it go? So these two look like they're a little bit linked. Libra and Scorpio. And up here, wow. It's interesting how you can kind of see this moving through the signs. Because Libra and Scorpio are both the fall signs, right? And there were a couple that were linked earlier on, which were the warmer weather signs, but here this is like as you move into fall, and we have some of these sort of same themes that are showing up. But the Nine of Wands is saying don't lose hope. There's the staircase. This person has been up a million staircases, and they're like, oh my God, am I really going to try this shit again? And it's important that you do. Okay? So, what leads up to this competition is the Eight of Swords. Anxiety, feeling trapped. It's like the world is fucking with your head. Now, currently, it looks like this might be a good thing. You can take some of that frustration and anxiety and channel it into this is like physical competition. We're not going to go the violence route on this, but this is basically like channeling that energy into some sort of competitive activity. The competition looks like it's a good place for this energy. And as you compete, it will also help the hope along, like as you compete and find out that you are not a bag of trash, then, that can revitalize your hope. So as this moves forward, some of that energy clears out, and we get a Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is sort of what this is there, to lead you to, but the Two of Cups is about accepting the current moment for what it is. And this has been a theme, and I've sort of been seeing this a lot, especially in my life, of course, because that's what I see the most, but some of our plans are just not where we are. We have a plan and we have a specific thing that we're trying to do, and it just fucking keeps failing or not working or whatever. And the Two of Cups is really saying, like, there is another reason that you are where you are, and your plan will work eventually, but right now it's like you have to do this other thing. Like, that's the only thing that's going to work. And the sort of higher message that comes out of this is a Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords, the deal with the Ten, the person in the Ten knew there was something wrong. In this case, they were being chased by all these swords. And they hid. They hid in a box. And the swords found them anyway. So whenever the Ten shows up, if you know that something is kind of off in your life, you have to deal with it directly. You have to look it in the face, because it will bite you in the ass if you don't. And as we look back here, I mean, these two are probably the most linked, the Eight of Swords and the Ten. Let's just pull one more card on this Ten. So we get a Five of Swords. There is a thing in your life that only insults you. It's only there to fuck with you and make fun of you. And it will never treat you well, and it could be sometimes people get like addicted to trying to beat the troll. It's like trying to win a game that has no winner ever, right? So here with the Ten of Swords and the Five, like whatever this is that keeps fucking with you and insulting you and leaving you feeling that way, you have to get rid of it. You can't continue to let it be a part of your life, because it will always treat you the same way. And it won't go away by itself. So you sort of have to take action to destroy it or get it out of your life. So that's what we get, and that also looks uncomfortable, but you kind of know what you have to do. Cutting the trolls out of your life. Cutting out the thing that is the troll in your life. For me, that might be Magic Arena, That game usually does nothing but piss me off. So, Sagittarius. This is the sign that I want to be the most like. I always think that Sagittarius, like the hopeful attitude and all of that, that is the stereotype Sagittarius. I feel like that is positive stuff. It's good stuff. I wish I were more like Sagittarius. So let's see what we get. The Empress as the root. That seems pretty good. And here we have a Queen of Wands, but she is upside down. Now, she's shown up several times in this, so we'll see why she's upside down here. Maybe she doesn't really need to be upside down. So the Empress, being open and creating. Now, one of the cool things about the Empress is she can just be open. Everything she needs is around her, right? So, in contrast with the Emperor has to make the wave. The Empress can ride the wave. If the Emperor waits for assistance, he's going to wait forever. He's just going to be sitting there. But the Empress, she just has to open up. And everything she needs is around her, and she can just create with everything around her. Like, the open flower doesn't need to do anything to get the bee. Now, the main card is the Queen of Wands reversed. So the Queen of Wands, feeling appreciated for who you are. The Queen of Wands reversed is not feeling that appreciation. And she can be very jealous and manipulative when that happens. So leading up to it, we get a Nine of Pentacles, which is a pretty decent card, and this shows some material control. This is the energy of a shopping trip. Now, what looks like is happening here, this is kind of like the example given before of like wanting to get in shape, so you buy running shoes and then nothing changes. So here is some material control, the energy of a shopping trip. But it looks like that did not help the Queen of Wands feel appreciated, because something else is what actually would make her feel appreciated. And here, it's creativity. Not what she can buy, but what she can create. So as this moves forward, we get a reverse Knight of Swords, and that is kind of being super defensive against things that maybe don't wish you any harm. The guard dog that would attack the milkman. And the higher purpose card here is the Lovers. So with the Empress and the Lovers, this is showing that there is something in your sphere, in your environment, that is worth really giving yourself to, that you can really open up to it, right? And it looks like the connection you tried to make the connection through some sort of material method, and it just left you feeling flat. And here with the Knight of Swords, it's saying, like, try not to take your failings out on other people, because if you're too defensive, then you won't really see the thing in your environment that is worth giving the commitment to. So I'm just going to pull another card real quick on this Lovers. And again, we get the Five of Swords. So I guess this would make sense with the Knight of Swords being upside down and there being an energy that you would kind of really want to defend yourself against, because there is this troll energy around. And with this, don't feed the trolls. If anyone is treating you like this, then fuck them. You know, like, block the trolls. Whoop! Just send them away. again, there is something in your environment that is worth your commitment. And there's an energy that's trying to keep you from doing that, or trying to make fun of your commitment, or make fun of the things that you've created. And fuck them. And here it has you feeling like not appreciated and all of that. But um, it's something that you're going to have to try to deal with in your own way. You're going to have to put some conscious effort into actually being open when this bastard is lurking around. But try to isolate this bastard and keep them from fucking up your day. So that is what we get on Sagittarius. Okay, we move into the winter months, and we are at Capricorn. I know a bunch of Capricorns. Some of my best friends. They seem pretty cool. Hey, it's the Empress. What do you know? So the main card is a reversed Four of Swords. So let's just see why this Four of Swords is reversed, what leads up to it, where it goes. All right. Higher message. Okay. The Empress. This is being open to your environment and creating with it. And the Empress just has to be open. The fertile womb, right? So, with this four, now this four can go a couple different directions. Because the four is about rest. The four is about separating yourself from the thing that is fucking with your head. And it's relaxation, really it's grounding. So it's bringing the energy back into your body. So all this shit isn't pulling at your head anymore. Now, when this thing turns upside down, there's two different things that it could mean. It could mean that you are just unable to separate, right? That you can't find any time alone to like separate from the thing that's fucking with your head. Or it can also show when you've had enough time to regenerate and it's time to go out into the world. You will know which one is happening for you. So what leads up to the reverse four? The Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is inheritance. So this is family stability, family understandings, and sort of gaining this, gaining the knowledge from the people who came before you. One of the things that has sort of come out in this card recently, now theoretically, the grandparent is teaching the grandchild about life through the game of chess. And one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately is how the grandchild also teaches the grandparent, some new tricks maybe, because they're looking at this game through completely different eyes. So they're both being enriched by this experience. Like there's learning and teaching that's going both ways. This is something that doesn't always come out in the card, but it is at this point. And so down here, this is a servant, and they're literally playing this game on the servant's back. So whenever this image is sticking out in the card, then it's just saying, like, try to recognize the people who got you where you are, And here, like, they're playing this game, and the servant has stolen one of the pieces. They don't even fucking know that it's gone, because they've got so much. And to this servant, it is a treasured possession. So try to be aware of how you treat people, especially people who don't have the same sort of inheritance, and just try to see who helped you get to where you are. Now, from here, from this Four of Swords, the regeneration, the grounding that happens. So we move into the Seven of Pentacles, and this is the witch practicing witchcraft. So this is basically you doing the thing that you are learning to do, and it's learning by doing. That it the seven isn't about school, it's about doing the thing that you would be going to school to learn, right? It's just learning by doing. So the higher purpose card that comes out is another seven. It's the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is really like coming out of a place of restriction just by not quitting, not giving up, continuing to fight and push forward, coming out of the old restriction. And whenever this happens, you move into a wide open space, and wide open space can be really scary after being in a closed quarters space. So when the seven shows up, honor all the shit you did to get to where you are and do not turn around. That's pretty much what we get here for Capricorn in the new moon. Aquarius. What do we got for these water-bearing folks? I've always thought the symbol was funny, and it's one of the deals when you can really understand the difference between the modern world and when the symbols were created and where the symbols were created. Because living in Minnesota, the Aquarius season isn't bringing you any water, you know? It maybe is bringing you some snow, but it's mostly bringing you way sub-zero temperatures. And they don't call it, you know, the ice bearer or the frozen bastard, which is probably what it should be called in Minnesota. Anyway, Aquarius, the Justice card. And a reverse King of Cups. Okay, the Justice card is about looking at something fairly, without prejudice. You look and see what you put in, what you get out, and make sure that shit is even. So these bones are kind of sticking out in the card, and I mean, they're basically like fossils or something. So I think this is looking at something that is old, something that has probably, maybe even from your childhood, right? But an old thing. And just looking at it fairly, without emotional bias, without stupid propaganda in your head, and just look at the real deal and make sure that what you put in and what you get out are even. So put these cards here. The reverse King of Cups. The King of Cups is generally very fulfilled. Because they are not being emotionally vampired on. They're really good at the exchange, about the trade, and making sure that they get what they're worth. In this case, emotionally. The King of Cups reversed is not necessarily feeling particularly emotionally happy. Because they're giving emotional power to something that takes from them, but it doesn't really give them anything back. So what leads up to this is the Ace of Swords. Now this is fascinating because the Ace of Swords is about taking control, being a victim of nothing, right? The Ace of Swords takes full responsibility for their life, and therefore they have full control. Now here, through this taking full responsibility, somehow it leads to a place where you don't necessarily feel fulfilled. Now, this might be cutting team members out, or like cutting out people who have your back, or not really giving them that much power. And whatever the deal is, with completely taking control of your own life, it leaves you feeling a little flat. So as we move forward, we get a Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is fear and anxiety. So it's really worrying about something that you can't necessarily do anything about. And the overreaching card that we have is the Lovers. So the Lovers is saying, again, there is something that you can commit to. Now, what I'm really getting out of this, there's something that you can commit to in your life. And there's these feelings like you want to commit to something in your life. The way the Ace of Swords leads to the reverse King of Cups, I don't think you have to make the commitment alone. There are people who can, like, still walk this path with you. Now, with the Justice card, you have to make sure, without emotional bias, that those people are going to continue to walk this path with you. And like love and fear are the two things that would fuck this all up. So just try to see things reasonably. And the reversed King of Cups isn't very good at that, right? The King of Cups is a very emotional dude. And when they're feeling out of sorts emotionally, they might not make the best decisions. So with the Justice card on the bottom, do try to take emotions out of the equation when you're making these decisions. But let's just see. I'm just going to try to see if this is like a temporary freak out. And the Ace of Cups would say probably. You know, the Ace of Cups is just being open to fulfillment, and then fulfillment is there. If you say today can be good, then today can be good. So try not to make terrible decisions as you are feeling emotionally down or depressed or punched in the gut or whatever. And if you do have to make a decision during this time, then you are going to have to try really fucking hard to take the emotional layer out of it and just see it for what it is. But the Lovers kind of is making a big decision. And the Lovers also shows that there's something that you can completely put your energy into. You probably won't be able to make this commitment by yourself, and do try to take emotions out of the equation if you have to make the decision quickly. This just spit out Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is like the open-minded student. What the hell just happened? The open-minded student. And the Page of Pentacles just found this new thing, right? And they know how powerful it will be as they incorporate it into themselves. So for Aquarius, it might be kind of a commitment to like a new thing that you found, like a new subject or whatever. But if you are forced to make a decision, try to take the emotions out, because they would probably lead to you making a terrible decision. Pisces. A couple of fish. Whoa! Oh, as I said that, all the cards just flew everywhere. And that one was sticking out on the bottom. What's his problem? And then we went to that one. All right, so none of that matters. Pisces, a couple of fish. What do you got going on for the new moon, Pisces? Boop. And it's the Lovers. There's a lot of big decisions that are being made. I think the Lovers has come up 3 times. So the center card is the World. So this is pretty fucking big here. Pisces is going through some stuff. So the Lovers is showing the big commitment, okay? And how that's kind of the energy that wants to come out. Now, the World is showing a great graduation. There is a chapter of your life that is ending, and a new chapter is about to begin. So you really have to look at how much of your current life and maybe your stuff is going to come with you into the next chapter of your life. Try to realize how much you learned in the last chapter, but it looks like that shit's about to end because you're about to make some great big commitment and start the next chapter of your life. Well, all right. This has shown up enough times that it's just something that is like kind of going to be going through everybody to some degree. And the Eight of Swords is temporary, but the Eight of Swords is some environmental factor fucking with your head. So whenever this card shows up, it's just saying don't freak out. Like there's this temporary thing, and it's going to be screwing with your head. It's like a bad trip, right? But the bad trip isn't the rest of your life. And you kind of just have to fucking ride it out. So, everything else is major. Major arcana. Now, here we look and see what leads up to the World and where it goes. Now, I am going to pull one more card just to see if the star being reversed is really important here. And we get another freaking major arcana card in the Magician. And I'm going to say that is going to say that the star being reversed doesn't mean that everything is screwed. So the Empress leading up to the World. So this shows being open to the environment, creating with what is there, right? With the root card of the Lovers. So there's this thing that you want to commit to, you open up, and there it is. And it gets into you, you know? It's like, oh, this is really important, which triggers the end of a chapter of your life. Now, as you move forward, we get the reverse star. So the star is the universe harmonizing with your desires, which is really good, right? The star reversed is usually when it's like a prayer that is answered. You really want something to happen, and then it does, but it does not show up the way that you thought it would, right? So with this, just try to be open to things looking a little different than you thought they would. I think that is fine. Because when I tried to find out if this was showing something really disruptive, we get the Magician, and the Magician is like being valued and accepted as a performer. It's like mastery of all these different skills and sort of being placed on stage. Now, maybe there's a part of this commitment that you didn't think would have you sort of in the public eye, or sort of have so much attention on you, and as you go through this transformation, it looks like it probably will, but that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. And especially if that freaks you out now, it's because there's this environmental bullshit, and it's going through everybody, and don't fucking worry about it. That's what that says. So, Pisces, for the moment, and coming up for the new moon, try to see how far you have come. And try to see how much wiser and stronger than you were fucking 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever. And a lot of things are about to change. And a lot of things are about to change for the better. It just might not look exactly the way you dreamed it to look. And it might come with a little more, like, attention than you thought. But it will be fine. So that's what we get for the new moon readings. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. And peace.